G'day folks, welcome to my November collection update. G'day folks, welcome back to the channel. Here's my very belated November collection update. I do realise it's now the start of January, but there will be coming a December collection update, as well as my top 20 albums for last year, so expect those videos at some stage. I could be a little more timely on my videos, but we get there in the end. First up is The Slow Death with Siege. This came out on Transcending Obscurity. I got it through their Bandcamp, so the link's below. This is a funeral doom band from sort of Sydney and surrounds. I actually ordered this in May 2021. I think it was released in August 2021, and I finally got it in November 2022, which I don't think was anyone's fault other than the pressing plant. Just took a while. Pretty sure I got this on CD a long time ago. But anyway, it's well worth the wait. Yeah, these dudes are funeral doom sort of style, very slow, very drawn out. This is their fourth album. Unfortunately, the first without Greg, their longtime singer, who unfortunately died a couple of years ago. He's missed on this, but he's been replaced with Gamaliel, however the hell you pronounce Mick, from Oracle of the Void, who now does the deep vocals and does a pretty bloody good job. Sounds very, very deep and cavernous. It's mostly very slow, but it does speed up occasionally to your sort of Pentecost 3 era Anathema kind of gallop sort of style, which works really well on this track Famine, which also has a great sort of lead line. But one highlight for me is Mandy's soaring female vocals, because they're just bloody awesome, especially on Tyranny. It sort of reminds me quite a bit of, Third and the Mortal early sort of work. Unfortunately, Brett from Pallbearer used to produce leads for their earlier albums. He's no longer on this, which is a bit of a shame because his lead work on Ark was pretty bloody awesome. But yeah, this is killer, really slow, doomy stuff. Very nice. And it also comes with, this is the variant 3 with ridiculous colour vinyl, but what the hell. So yeah, highly recommend it if you like your doom very slow. And yeah, honestly, this band just keeps getting better. Up next is Godflesh with Pure Live. This came out on Avalanche Recordings, which is Justin's own label, so I think I got it off either their website or their Bandcamp. This is Godflesh playing live at Roadburn, where they do most of Pure and also the song Cold World. Obviously the drums sound pretty normal because it's a drum machine, so there's not as much variance to the album version as other bands, but sounds bloody good to me. One of the highlights in this is the bass. It just sounds massive on mono, tremata, and predominance. It's Benny's got a nasty sounding bass these days. This also has Robert Hampson from Loop, who was in Godflesh around Pure era, so I think he does about 6 songs as the second guitarist, so it has a bit of a fuller sort of sound. And because he hasn't been in the bands, it's like 92 or something or other. They haven't played a lot of these songs live for a long time, so it was bloody good. I really wish I was there. It would have been awesome. There is actually video of this on YouTube as well, which is interesting. Robert seems to be a bit shy. Maybe he's just like standing facing his amp pretty much the whole time. But yeah, they sound bloody good. The highlights for me are probably Don't Bring Me Flowers and Cold World, because I really love the Cold World EP, so I was glad that got a bit of love here. This also has I Wasn't Born to Follow, which of course Strapping Young Lad kind of borrowed a riff from for All Hail the New Flesh, which they did it pretty well, but it was pretty bloody blatant if you ask me. I was kind of surprised they didn't play Love Hate Slug Baiting on this. They do the, I think it's Pure 2 is the they do a couple of minutes of that, which I think on the CD version of the real album is like 20 minutes of noise. I did see mention on their Facebook page of a live Selfless album, which I think they also did for Roadburn, so hopefully that'll be out at some stage. I still just want them to do a live Slave State album. That would be awesome. But yeah, it's Godflesh, it rules, and we're still one of my favourite bands, so very much looking forward to some new music from those chaps. Yeah, this is killer though. Up next, and the monthly winner of the most illegible logo, is Vicissitude with Neolithic Necro Cannibals. This is New Zealand Black Death sort of style, kind of war metal-y almost. think Revenge, but with slightly more death metal and slightly less pick slides. This is a great mix of sort of bestial and really cavernous heavy sound. Sounds bloody good to me. And it's a good mix of screamed vocals and sort of deep ones, and sometimes at the same time, a la Early Deicide on track 7, I think it's called. None of these tracks have names. And there's also no band members listed, but seems to have been recorded at the Stalker headquarters, so I'm suspecting someone from the speed metal band Stalker, who I saw briefly recently, and they were killer. I suspect maybe they're in the band, I don't know, but I also got a free patch, so thanks, David. This is the second release from a local-ish label, Gutter Prince Cabal. They put out Longing Moors for album first, and then I've also just downloaded or ordered a tape of one of their new releases called Idiot Beast, which is like members of Heresiac and Sinistrus Diabolus, and it's sort of doomy, sludgy kind of stuff. So yeah, that might be on one of my future videos. But yeah, this is bloody excellent stuff. I'm kind of spewing up, managed to chip the mostly black cover already, so that looks a bit shit, but oh well. But yeah, if you like your stuff pretty bestial, you may well enjoy this. Up next is Blasphemicio with Devotion. This is Chris from Backyard Mortuary fame, his solo project from when he lived in Mexico City. This actually came out in 2018, but he recently just finally got the tape to me, so thanks, Chris, I appreciate it. It is available on their Bandcamp though. Yeah, this was a solo project when he was over there, but he's since moved back, and they're now playing live with his brother Nathan on bass, and Everywhere Man Yon on drums, and Chris on guitar, vocals, and Evil Laughter, of course. This is pretty much just first wave black metal sort of style, Sarcophago or Sodom sort of era. Bloody good. And I saw him recently at Brutefest, sorry, and yeah, they were killer. Really good fun. They played very early, so hence why I was there for bloody 12 hours or whatever, but it was very worth getting there early to see him. The sound on this is the demo. It doesn't sound amazing. It sounds perfectly good, don't get me wrong, and the bass sounds particularly good on it, as do the raspy sort of vocals. I'm very much looking forward to what these guys produce as a full band. Hopefully they've got more releases planned, but yeah, this is a very good start. Next up are a batch I got from Searchers Records in Melbourne. First up is Morbific with Squirm Beyond the Mortal Realm. This came out on Misacre un Ojo, whatever the Misacre will do. This is Finnish death metal. It's kind of a slightly weird sort of... First time I listened to it, it had a weird tinny sound that took me a while to get used to, but now I don't even notice it, so I don't know, maybe my ears just adjusted. It's not the sort of really deep, cavernous sort of style you usually, think of with Finnish death metal, but it works pretty well here, though. They've only been around for 2 years, but they've already got like 2 demos and a previous album with a very similar cover art to this. Yeah, I'm guessing it's the same artist. This gets nice and murky and sort of doomy sort of style on Suicide Sanctum, and I just love the groove that they've got on the Head Harvest and Bind Torture Snuff. So yeah, very, very tasty Finnish death metal, which I can never really get too much of, so yeah, check it out. While ordering from Searchers, I also noticed this Ruins of Eden 10-inch from old band Enemy Soil, which, according to Discogs, is only one pressing from 1996, so I thought, what the hell, it was cheap, why not? I do actually already own it on CD and on this very excellent discography, which compiles pretty much almost all their stuff. So yeah, I grabbed it, what the hell. These guys were a grind band from Virginia in the US, and I always thought they were a little underrated, to tell the truth. They could have got more props. It was closely aligned to sort of Agoraphobic Nosebleed, and Rich Johnson, the main guy from Enemy Soil's now in Agoraphobic as well. I love this band since I first heard them on, I think it was one of the Relapse compilations. And yeah, that was back in the days when they had a drum machine that was pretty much just set on fast. This EP is actually has Brian from Pig Destroyer on drums, and their old singer, what's his name, Doshu, who had very tortured sort of style. They had differing singers over the years, but he was one of the better ones, I reckon. according to the notes in this, these are actually tracks from their side project, what's it called? Random Green. But they sound exactly like Enemy Soil songs. There are actually a couple of older songs like Sentencing and Hypocrisy that are redone on this with, proper drums instead of the drum machine. They sound just as bloody good. So, yeah, I wish this band had more sort of attention paid to them. They reformed briefly and then seemed to split again, so it's a bit of a shame. I would have liked to have seen them at MDF, the one they played. Around this period is sort of my favourite era, this and the split 7-inch they did with Agoraphobic Nosebleed, which has the song Direct Action, which is easily my favourite. That's a breakdown and a half. But yeah, this, I don't know, they're very riffy, sort of tough grind, and yeah, bloody awesome. So definitely recommend checking him out. I wouldn't bother getting this record, but definitely get this compilation. I think Bones Brigade put this one out in France. Well worth it. Speaking of Agoraphobic Nosebleed, I couldn't resist getting this one on record from Radical Blast. I've had this on CD since it came out, but what the hell, it's always good to have it on record. This is back when they were like masters of drum machine grind. This is their, I think it's first proper album. I don't really consider Honky Reduction an album, seeing it's probably like 12 minutes long, but this is the first one where they got Rich from Enemy Soil, previous band, as well as Carl Schutz joined, as along with the usuals, Jay Randall and Scott Hull. So yeah, they ramped it up on this one. It's pretty bloody crazy. So yeah, just crazed drum machine grind, lots of weird shit going on, including phone call vocals from Pete from Benum, which is cool. It's just him ringing up and singing the lyrics to, singing, screaming into the phone for one of the songs that they then put music to. There's also amusing ones from the singers Phallic Carnage and Killjoy. There's also guest vocals from Danny Lilker, and guest bass as well on their cover of Nuclear Assault's Hang the Pope, which is bloody fast in the first place, but it's even faster here, as you'd imagine. This is just so beautifully over the top and insane, and the song titles and lyrics are just as crazed and bizarre. I think they sound like they're written by a drug-crazed hobo or something or other. So yeah, if you don't have this and you like drum machine grind, bloody get it. It's awesome. Also from Radical Blast was Acid Feast split with Haggis with their Chainsaw Mutilation at the Morgue release. I don't know, this came out on about 5 different labels as usual. Yeah, this is unfortunately not a charming album cover. I don't know what's going on there. Let's say it's from a movie. Acid Feast are a defunct Seattle Goregrind band. Yeah, nice chunky sort of style in between the blasts. Kind of reminds me of Active Stenosis quite a bit. And it's also got a nice cover of everyone's favourite grind song, Consequence, which by Ulcerous Phlegm, that believe I've got to track it down sometime. There's a compilation of just covers of that song. There's like 43 versions of the same song by a whole lot of different bands, half of which probably just sound exactly the same. So yeah, if you really like the song Consequence, and it is a bloody good song, but anyway, the Haggis stuff on this is it's a bit. They're a prolific sort of gore grind band from California. This one's a bit gorier, that side. Pitch shifted vocals that really make it. It's a bit more varied and almost sounds like surf gore in parts. So yeah, not my favourite cover art, but pretty damn good EP. Also from Radical Blast is the Fistula and Hemdale split. Both bands are from Ohio, and it's got the hype sticker says the worst of Ohio in one EP. Hemdale seems to be a song about Miley Cyrus, hence why she's on the cover. Not sure why, I guess they're fans. This is more modern Hemdale, but it still sounds pretty bloody chunky as usual. The slow middle bit with Matt's crazed screams and vocals, it's just awesome. Killer Hemdale stuff. The other side, Fistula, with a charming cover art, which thankfully is probably a little blurry on camera. These guys play a meaty sludge sort of style with raspy kind of vocals. I don't actually own very much, if anything, of these guys other than this. Maybe another split 7-inch or something. But yeah, I've listened to a few of their albums since, and pretty killer. I might have to track down a bit of them. Their song on here is mostly sort of slow and torturous, but it's got a nice groove to the faster sections, so yeah, not the most vital thing, but there's more Miley on the centre thing, and lovely vinyl. Love it. I can always handle some stripy pink vinyl, why not? Last up from Radical Blast is Nikudure split with Anal Massacre. Nikudure is a Japanese sort of noise grind kind of band. They got like vocals on this. They have vocals, drums, and just electronics from Kenny from Facial Mess. So no guitars on this. Pretty much sounds like a noisier version of Gorbeyond Necropsy, which is fine by me because I love me some Gorbeyond. I like this way more than the other Nikudure release I have, which is the split with Gorbeyond Necropsy and Arse Destroyer, because the Niku stuff on that's just noise pretty much. It's lacking the grind aspect that this has. But yeah, this is killer. It's on par with their Genital Torture album that I really need to track down because it's bloody awesome as well. Cover art on this is from Mackinob, from the bassist from Gorbeyond, who also did Genital Torture album, and I think a couple of Gorbeyond sort of demos and stuff. I just love his style. It's just ridiculous. On the other side is Anal Massacre from Germany. I don't really know much about these guys. They sound a bit like Undernism at times. It's they're pretty straightforward and the sound's a bit shit, but it's not too bad. Nowhere near as good as the other side. Carbonized and Red River are my favourite songs off this, but still worth checking out. But the Niku stuff, that rules. Next up is an order I got from Sphere Evaporation Records. First up is Incabulous with Exhumed Abominations. This is a discography of an old Geelong death metal band who were around from 95 to 2002. This came out on Nuclear Winter Records from Greece, which is the Dead Congregation label. And this is pretty much all they did. It starts with a single that they put out right before the end, which is a bit sort of blacker than their earlier death metal styles. My favourite is the Abandoning of the Flesh EP, which I do have an original of, which came out originally on Venomous. It's just a nice, thick, sort of rumbling death metal with really deep vocals. It's just right my cup of tea. Although they cover Cenotaph by Bolt Thrower, and I really don't really like their take on... They make it too fast, which, I don't know, sounds a bit weird with death metal, but I guess I'm just used to the Bolt Thrower version. And it is nice to have the super deep sort of vocals on it. It also has their 2 demos, with the second one, Dark Divinity, being the best by miles. I think I saw him once live at this gig that I'll put up on the screen. It was at good old Rock Ape, so because it was at Rock Ape, I'm assuming there was some Super Bourbons involved, which is why it's a little hazy. I do remember seeing Deluge, the South Australian band that was also on the bill, mainly because the singer had like this somewhat ridiculous, well, I wouldn't say chainmail, but armour that he used to wear. It was bloody awesome. But yeah, this is good value. It's got a nice little history of the band, right up. It's got some dark collage though. They probably could have printed that one a bit better, but yeah, it's got all the lyrics and everything, so well worth it. And yeah, they were a killer band. So also from Sphere Evaporation was Infinitum with The Sixth Extinction. This was a self-released one from an old Canberra sort of technical brutal death metal sort of band. They comprised ex-members of Psychrist and Dehuman, and this is their second album. I do have their first 2 releases as well, which is like an EP and an album, all self-released I think, and you can still get them from Severe Apparition, so I'd recommend that. They had a drum machine on the first couple of albums, but this one's got Dan from Bleakwood and Futility, and just gives it a bit more dynamic, a bit more variety. And this has much more mature songwriting than the first album, almost a slightly blacker feel in times. I must say I do prefer the more brutal vocals on the first album, but you really can't go too wrong. If you like later era Psychrist, this is probably definitely up your alley. I have a bad feeling I already own this, but I couldn't find it immediately, so what the hell, maybe I've got 2 copies now. But sorely underrated Canberra band that sadly broke up, but Sphere of Apparition were even nice enough to throw in this free fanzine, Devoured Death, issue 3. I don't really collect fanzines all that much anymore. This is freaking huge. A lot of stuff in here. Yeah, including interviews with Backyard Mortuary, Excarnated Entity, Rotten Tomb, Puncture Wound, Blasphemicio. So, yeah, heaps of reviews, all the good usual stuff in a zine. That's freaking thick, I've got to say. So, thanks heaps, fellas. Lastly, from Sphere of Apparition was Mythos with their Moulded in Clay 1993 demo, which has been pressed on record by Nuclear Winter. Yeah, this is a somewhat short-lived Finnish black metal band. It's this very heavy sort of style with deep vocals. You know, your Archgoat Beherit and First Impaled Nazarene, which is probably my favourite style of Finnish black metal. And it's also produced at Tico Tico Studios, which seems to be where all the fun stuff comes from. These are the same tracks that appear on this vociferous and Machiavellian Hate compilation EP, which is well worth getting, but yeah, it's nice to have them on record with cool cover art as well. Several of these songs were re-recorded for their one and only album Pain Amplifier with a different vocalist, and that's just as bloody heavy. I highly recommend that one. I first heard these guys on a compilation tape I got off my friend Chris, and yeah, the Unreal Moon or whatever it was called just blew me away, so thanks Dowser, good work. Yeah, they did a later EP called Dark Material that really didn't grab me too much, but yeah, what the hell. Pain Amplifier and this are definitely worth getting. This has got a nice Terrorizer cover, which is nothing special, but yeah, I'll tell you what, the cover art of this is really nice. It's all done by some Flemish artist called, what's his name, Bruegel, who had a very similar style to your Hieronymus Bosches of the world, and obviously influenced some modern artists, you know, your Dave Pratchett's and your Kent Matthews with their a lot of weird shit going on in great detail. I'd recommend looking up Bruegel because he's got some interesting sort of art, and you'd probably recognise it from a batch of other things as well who pinched it. So, but yeah, this Mythos EP, awesome. Up next is a new EP from Funeral Doom Gods, Mournful Congregation. This is the Exuve of Gods, Part 1. I had to look up what exuve, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is. It's the sloughed off animal skin, so it's sort of like, you know, shedded snake skin. This has got 3 songs, so it's an EP. It's not quite 40 minutes long, so yeah, pretty short. Mournful. First song, Mountainous Shadows Cast Through Time, is probably my highlight on this. It's a straight normal sort of song of theirs, but there's a few sort of slight speed ups, and yeah, it's heavy as buggery. I don't know, it just seems a bit more varied and a bit more interesting than some of their other stuff. The second song, The Exuve of Gods, is really nice, sort of mellow instrumental. Just cruises along at a nice pace and has really killer electric bleed sort of work from Justin, so it's lovely work. And the third song is actually an old one from their second demo, actually, An Epic Dream of Desire. And yeah, this has got one of their old members, Ben Petch, who's rejoined for this. I think he does vocals on this, the spoken wordy kind of stuff. So it's much better sound than the demo version, of course, but I don't know, the speed up in the demo sounds slightly better, I think. But overall, this is a bloody killer EP. I kind of wish it was a full album, but I'm hoping there'll be a part 2 at some stage. So yeah, South Australian Gods, Mournful Congregation. Up next was an in-store purchase I'd made at Landspeed of good old Misfits with Collection, or Misfits 1, or whatever the hell you want to call it. This is actually the first Misfits I ever got a copy of, which eventually sold me. I still feel a bit stupid for taking so long to bloody get into them, but what the hell. So yeah, this is a compilation of 12-inch songs, as well as, you know, just songs off their albums with Danzig, so it's a good mixture of all their stuff, but I still like the faster, earlier ones a bit better. And I just get so many of these bloody songs stuck on my mind. Hollywood Babylon, Teenagers from Mars, and Skulls, as well as of course, the awesome chorus of Where Equals Dear of I ain't no goddamn son of a bitch. Not sure I could be bothered working out where all these are from, or they're supposedly all alternative versions. But yeah, I don't know if Danzig tinkered with them, or they're just different mix, or different takes, or God knows what. I'd say they're probably just the normal studio versions, but yeah, my keener Misfits mate Kel reckons this sounds like shit, but sounds good to me. I don't care. But yeah, the more I listen to this, the more I find just how much Metallica borrowed off them vocally, especially on Angel Fuck. Not that that's on this, but yeah, it's pretty bloody blatant now that I listen to it. So yeah, it was just bloody killer stuff. Can't get enough. Up next is Discontent with Ancient Black Earth. I got this from Underground Force Productions from Melbourne, which is Damon Bloodstorm's distro or label or whatever. They even threw in a nice free patch. Thanks, fellas. Yeah, these guys, you should know them. They're ancient death metal from California. This is their Ancient Black Earth EP, plus some covers, plus a couple of unreleased tracks from like 97, 98 sort of era. Cortez Brothers have been plugging away with this since the late 80s, and yeah, but this seems to be about their more productive era. They still haven't produced an album though. I don't think the vocals on this from Bay sound quite as rabid as or raspy as Resurrection, but still sounds bloody good to me. And the Celtic Frost cover of Return to the Eve's a bloody ripper. He manages somehow to make it sound even grander and more sinister, so good work on that. It's a shame I didn't pick up the other reissue of this, which also has Resurrection on it, because it doesn't seem to be on too many other things. So I'm hoping one day we'll get a 3 LP version or something or other of all their stuff, because it's pretty hit and miss. And also, as I said, I'm still hoping for an album one day. You never know. So, but yeah, this is well worth getting if you like your death metal somewhat old and Slayerish. So yeah, great band. Last but definitely not least is Voivod with Dimension Hatros. I got this from Bad Habit Records. I've had this on CD, 2 versions of CD for ever, basically. Never had it on record, so yeah, I saw Bad Habits Records in Queensland had this listed. It was like a original pressing from France or somewhere or other from 1988 or whatever. So yeah, thought, what the hell, I'll grab that. It was a good price as well, so very happy with that. Doesn't have an inner sleeve, so I can't see Noro from the VBs listed on the Iron Gang list, but I've got it on CDs twice. Yeah, this is my second favourite Voivod behind Nothing Face, so yeah, it's nearly pretty much peak era for me. And yeah, this has killer songs. Tribal Convictions is one of my favourites, and I'm very, very glad to see that now back in their set list. Last couple of times I've seen them, I don't think they played it, which was quite a surprise, because it was like a video clip hit single of theirs and a killer song, so glad to see that back. I also love Macro Solutions and Psychic Vacuum, but the whole thing rules. It's you really need to check this out. This doesn't have the bonus Batman theme song that's on the CDs, which is probably not a bad thing, because it kind of slowly spoils the atmosphere, but yeah, love it. See, it's got a different band photo on the back than my CD, so yeah, very glad to have this one on record, and very glad that I remembered that I have this reissue thingy CD, because I think it's got like a live DVD that I still haven't actually watched, so yeah, maybe I should check that out. But yeah, amazing band. One of my faves for sure. Bad Habits also used this Wings cover with no record in it for packing, so if you need a cover of Band on the Run, let me know, because you ain't getting the record, but you can have this. I will close this off by doing a video review, or not really a review, but just mention that I managed to pick up this Turkey Shoot. This is a Aussie exploitation movie from the, 80s somewhere. I got this from JB Records just because I was like, yeah, let's see if they've got that. Oh, they do. Excellent. This is a movie I missed for many, many years. I only saw it I think a year ago pretty much. I don't know how I missed it, because it's hilarious stuff. I think it's got various other names. But yeah, it's basically a futuristic prison movie where they kind of, they do a turkey shoot, they hunt the prisoners for sport. And so it's just this ridiculously over the top. It's got prison violence, nudity, lots of gory deaths. It's got the big bald guy from Mad Max, like the sergeant from that, so what do you need? I'll show you the other cover is a bit bodgier looking, but yeah, what the hell. It's also, it appears to be Escape 2000. And yeah, it's just totally over the top exploitation stuff. But best of all, and I shouldn't spoil it too much, but what the hell, one of the hunters, so the nasty people, has a pet sort of wrestling werewolf. Yeah, I don't know why, but it's you got to see it. Believe me, I don't know where the hell you can see this overseas, but yeah, Turkish, you definitely check it out. This is a nice Blu-ray version. I haven't watched it yet, but it's got heaps of special features and all sorts of stuff. So I'll be checking that one out shortly, I reckon. Good holiday viewing, I think. So thanks for watching, and I promise there'll be a December update soon and a top 20 albums of 2022. So yeah, keep watching. Cheers.